Hello everyone, here I am with today's editorial that is of 26 August 2021. Before we move on to read the article, let us have a quick glance at the vocabulary or the new words that we are going to come across. The first one is nuance. It basically means a subtle difference in a shade of meaning, expression, or sound. That means very slight difference between two or more things which is not very easy to make out. The second word is jurisprudence. That means the theory of philosophy of law. That basically means in accordance or what the law says. It's according to that. Proponent. A person who advocates a theory, proposal, or course of action. So here we come across another word that is advocate. Advocate basically means someone who supports it publicly. So a person who supports a theory, a proposal, or a course of action, that person is called a proponent. The next word is championing. That means vigorously support or defend the cause of. Vigorously is very strongly. So somebody who strongly supports or defends. Defend is to take the side of the cause of something. Assertion is a confident and forceful statement or fact or belief. So when you say something in the court or they ask you to give an assertion to back your saying with some sort of proof or a forceful statement or a fact. And the last word is discourse. That means written or spoken communication or debate. So I think that you can easily make out something, a communication or debate that is either in written form or in spoken form. So let us move on to read the article. The article today that we are going to read is said as income and quotas. So it is basically all about reservation in India, and it will talk about the creamy layer and on what basis reservation should be given and everything. So SC lays bare the limits of using economic criterion to determine reservation eligibility. So Supreme Court lays bare the limits, like it tells the limits of using economic criteria to determine reservation eligibility. So the Supreme Court states what are the limitations if you just use the economic criteria as a basis of reservation and not the socio and education background as well. The Supreme Court's ruling that economic criteria alone cannot be used to classify a member of backward class as belonging to the creamy layer adds an interesting nuance to the jurisprudence of affirmative action. So here it's saying that the Supreme Court is saying that the economic criteria, like if you see the OBC, that is the other backward classes, this has like people who are well off, who have secured government jobs and are now well off. They are called, because they are economically strong, they are categorized under the creamy layer, and now they are no more given the profits or benefits of reservation. So here it's saying that, so here economy is the only basis through which they are removed from the reservation. So it's saying the only thing, this criteria as economy is not fair enough to classify a person in a creamy layer or not. So there was a time when backwardness was primarily related to inadequate social and educational advancement of a group. So it's saying that earlier reservation was all about socially backward, socially and economically, educationally backward classes. But now people have also counted the economy part in it. Ever since the court in Indra Swane 1992 introduced the concept of creamy layer, a term describing the well-off among the backward classes, and declared that this section should be denied reservation benefits. The original idea of including groups based on social backwardness was matched with the parallel exercise to exclude the more advanced among them. So in 1992, there was a case that was called the Indira Swani versus the state of the Indian state. Okay, the Union state. So in this, she challenged the reservation, and in response, this term creamy layer was introduced, and not all the people from the other backward classes were given reservations, and some like the more advanced one were not given their reservation anymore. So before moving on, I would like to give you a brief idea about this Indira Swani case. So what happened in 1991, the Narasimha Rao government implemented this reservation, in which 27% reservation was given to the OBC. And as you can see, the same year, like in this year, the results came out, but Indira Swani questioned this, or contradicted. She presented her opinion regarding it, and she challenged it. She said that caste cannot be the sole basis of reservation. Caste cannot be the sole basis of reservation. Reservation should not exclude 50%, because if you give more than 50%, then you are reducing the opportunity for the other people belonging to the other caste who are not being provided with reservations. And third is that reservation cannot be on the basis of economic status. And also she said that is clause 16.1 exception to clause 16.4. So in 16.1, it says that the state is trying to provide equal opportunities and jobs to all, and in 16.4 it says that there will be special provisions who do not have adequate representation or adequate jobs. So at the same time, you're saying the both things. So she asked whether it's an exception or not. So the judgment or the result that came out, that said that that reservation for 27% of OBC remained, and the creamy layer was excluded from the OBC criteria, and during this time only the creamy layer was introduced, as it is said here also. And also that the reservation was capped to 50%, like her demand that reservation should not exceed 50% was taken into place. And if you look at present time, we have 10% reservation for the economically backward classes, economically weaker section, but then it was held invalid, and there was no reservation and promotions. If you see, these reservations are for getting jobs, but you cannot get, once you get the job, you cannot get promoted on the basis that you have reservation. That promotion is all depends on your performance and how and your capabilities. And the last was that carry forward rule in case of unfilled vacancies. So it was said, I'll tell this one with an example. Just if this year there are 10 seats for OBCs and the others are for general, and only 8 people have been able to occupy it, 8 OBCs, and 2 seats are still left. So those 2 seats would not be given to the general, but in the next when the next time there's an exam, these 2 seats would be added there, and that time 12 seats would be there for the OBCs. So this was all that was said in this Indira Swani case. Now let us move further by reading this. The position has crystallized into law. So now this has become a law that creamy layer would not be given reservation. Many support the formulation that once caste is accepted as basis of determining backwardness, there is nothing wrong in excluding the affluent among the eligible caste. So here it's saying that it's the same thing, that some people believe that reservation is limited to some caste, but within this those castes, if some people are more affluent, they are more wealthy, they are economically strong, so there is nothing wrong in excluding them from the reservation and giving opportunities to those who are very poor in those backward classes. The Union government has unreservedly accepted the creamy layer rule and formulated criteria for identifying those who fall under the category. So now, when we look at reservation, the government has taken the creamy layer also as a criteria. So, with alongside other criteria that you need to get the reservation, creamy layer is also one of them. The proponents of economic criteria feel that genuine social justice means reservation benefits should be restricted to the poorer among the backwards. So these proponents, I told you the meaning of proponents. It means a person who supports a theory or a proposal, like a strongly or publicly. So they are also the people who support the economic criteria feel that it is good, it will provide social justice to all by providing benefits to the poorer among the backward classes, because if you include the affluent one also, then the poorer in the OBC will have less chances or less reservations. So if you remove them, then more poor people can come up and have the benefit of reservation, while sections championing backward class assertion disfavor any dilution of the social basis of reservation. And at the same time, there are some people who are totally against it. They say you should give reservation to a social caste despite their economic status. And like dilution here means that within dilution is to make reduce the strength of something. So in this case, it basically means that you should give reservation to the whole caste and not make subdivisions within it and then give it to some. So here it's saying that. Now let's move on. The court's latest judgment in Haryana case corrects a grave error by the state. Grave means a deadly. Grave is basically a hole that is dug in which the casket is put and it's covered. When a person dies, then he's put there. So here it can be said as something that's very dangerous or maybe deadly. Error by the state. It has struck down notification fixing an annual income of 6 lakh as the sole criteria to identify whether a family belongs to the creamy layer. So there was a case in Haryana in which the court has done a very big mistake. They have chosen the economic status as the only criteria for a person to be eligible for reservations. So, and that is if their income is less than 6 lakhs annual income. And this also violates, as let me just read it out for you. It was a contrary to Indira Swahane that had spoken of different criteria, including being the children of high-ranking constitutional functionaries, employees of certain rank in union and state governments, those affluent enough to employ others, or with significant property and agricultural holding, and of course an identified annual income. So in Indira Swahane case, these were other things that were looked into before giving the reservations. So if a person is to be considered in creamy layer, it should not be only on the basis of his income, but other things such as he should have a like a prominent rank in the union and state government. They should have enough money to employ others for them. So, like they should be that wealthy, and they should also have significant property and agricultural holding, and at the same time they should be the children, or they can be the children of high-ranking constitutional functionaries. So you can see that the Haryana case clearly violates this. It is in contrast with it. The court has found that the Haryana criterion based on income alone was contrary to its own law that specifies that the creamy layer would be identified through social, economic, and other factors. So it's saying the creamy layer should be identified on the basis of socio, economic, and other factors as well. But the Haryana judgment is not in accordance with it. The constitution permitted special provisions in favor of socially and educationally backward classes through the First Amendment. So the constitution had provided special provisions in favor of these SEBC, that is socially socially and educationally backward classes, as well as reservation in government employment for backward classes, and at the same time they provided reservation in government jobs. Judicial discourse introduced a 50% ceiling and a creamy layer concept as constitutional limitations on reservation benefits. So then there were limitations to reservation. One was that it cannot exceed 50%, and if you look currently, it's 49.5%. Reservation is for the SC, ST, and OBC. I'll talk about it in the next slide. And the other is that people belonging to creamy layer will be excluded from this. However, the 103rd constitutional amendment by which 10% reservation for the economically weaker section has been introduced. But with the 103rd amendment, there had been an extra 10% reservation for those people who are not belonging to any of these categories but are economically weaker sections of the society. So if you count this also with these, then it actually exceeds this 50%, but this 10% is not for people belonging to any of these. So it is for general category and other categories. Has significantly altered the affirmative action program, with the current income ceiling being 8 lakh per annum for availing for both OBC and EVS quotas. There is a strange and questionable balance between OBC and EVS segments in terms of eligibility, even though the size of respective quotas vary. So here it's saying anyone who is trying to apply for OBC or EVS, they should have income less than 8 lakhs and annually. So although this thing is same, but there's but the other things like the eligibility, the thing that's required there for them to apply for this is same, but there are many things that are varied in both of them. If you look, even the size in OBC it's 27%, but in EVS it's only 10%. Now let us have a quick glance at the reservation analysis in India. So if you look, let us just think that this is the total 100% of seats that have come out. So out of that, 15% will be for the scheduled caste, and 27% for OBC, 10% for economically weaker section, and scheduled tribe it's 7.5, and then the other 40% is for general who are not economically weaker sections. And this here it's written merit, because if they want to get a job, secure a job, it totally depends on their merit, how they have performed, and they will not get any reservations. So here, as you can see, if you include the SC, the ST, and the OBC, it's approximately about 50%. As I told you, it's 49.5 exactly. So they have not crossed this limit, and as well they have provided reservations to economically weaker section of the society as well. So thank you everyone for having patience.